Oh, seriously?
So lately, there's been a ton of buzz online, with all kinds of rumors swirling that Anya Taylor-Joy could return as Illyana Rasputina in some huge MCU event, maybe something on the scale of an Avengers Doomsday movie. But it's not just about seeing her pop up in a big Avengers crossover. Fans are actually hoping Marvel brings her back for Secret Wars 2 and really locks her in as a key part of the new X-Men era. Honestly, people think Anya Taylor-Joy has the star power to totally carry that branch of the franchise, as long as Kevin Feige doesn't mess it up. So here's a look at everything we know so far. Who exactly is Magik? Well, some people might casually refer to her as Marvel's Mutant Sorcerer, and honestly, that fits pretty well. Long before she ever teamed up with the X-Men to save the world, Illyana Rasputin was forced to save herself from a nightmare most folks couldn't even imagine. Because after getting dragged into a hellish dimension called Limbo, she forged her own mystical powers just to survive. Over time, she learned to battle both literal and personal demons and eventually emerged as one of Marvel's most heroic mutant magic users. Even though she originally showed up as nothing more than Colossus's little sister, these days she's becoming a guiding light for a whole new generation of mutants and magicians. With her set to appear in Marvel's Midnight Suns, that new tactical RPG by Firaxis and 2K, it's the perfect time to look back on how this member of the New Mutants became one of Marvel's top-tier mystical powerhouses. Sure, here's how you could start that off in a casual, conversational way. There's also talk about Magik showing up in a future Midnight Suns movie in the MCU, which honestly would make a lot of sense. For starters, Illyana Rasputin, better known as Magik, isn't just a mutant. She's also a powerful sorceress tied to Limbo and all kinds of dark magic. That basically drops her right into the middle of Marvel's supernatural playground, which is exactly where the Midnight Suns story lives. She's already a huge part of the Midnight Suns video game lineup, fighting alongside characters like Blade, Ghost Rider, Nico Minoru, and Doctor Strange. So if Marvel decides to build a live-action version of that team, it wouldn't be surprising at all for them to bring Magik into the mix. It's also a clever way to start blending the world of mutants with the MCU's growing supernatural side, something they've been slowly teasing through movies and specials like Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, Werewolf by Night, and the upcoming Blade film. And fans are definitely here for it. People would love to see Anya Taylor-Joy reprise her role from the New Mutants, giving her a chance to explore Magik's darker, more mystical side on a bigger stage. Nothing's confirmed yet, but with how Marvel likes to merge characters and storylines, there's a pretty solid chance she could end up being the bridge between the X-Men and the supernatural heroes in the MCU. Now, let's imagine what kind of story could bring Magik into a Midnight Suns movie in the MCU. So picture this. The MCU's mystical threats have been ramping up. We've seen incursions in Doctor Strange 2 and the rise of monsters in Werewolf by Night, and we know Blade is on the horizon. All of this sets the perfect stage for something darker and more supernatural to break loose. Maybe there's a surge of demonic activity tied to ancient prophecies, which forces Doctor Strange to realize he can't handle it alone. This is where he decides to form a team, the Midnight Suns, to tackle threats that are way beyond the usual Avengers problems. We could see him pulling in Blade for his vampire expertise, Ghost Rider for his connection to Hell, and Nico Minoru because of her dark staff and witchcraft. And then he goes looking for someone who knows Limbo inside out. That's where Magik comes in. She might already be dealing with her own crisis in Limbo. Maybe there's an uprising of demons or some ripple effect from all the multiverse chaos that's cracked open new portals. Doctor Strange could show up to recruit her, and at first, she's reluctant. Because even though she's powerful, she's also deeply scarred from her time ruling Limbo, and she knows meddling with that kind of magic always comes with a price. But ultimately, she'd join the Midnight Suns because she understands better than anyone what happens if demonic forces spill over into Earth unchecked. From there, you'd get some incredible scenes, like Magik opening stepping discs to move the team through dimensions, or her soul sword slicing through magical constructs that even Strange struggles with. There'd also be a chance to explore her darker side, the part of her that still wrestles with becoming the Dark Child. Maybe that tension is exactly what the big villain tries to exploit, tempting her to give in to her demonic nature. In the end, it could be Magik's choice to stay true to herself, embracing both her mutant and mystical sides that saves everyone. It'd be a fantastic way to showcase her as not just Colossus's little sister or a supporting X-Men character, but as a powerhouse who's absolutely essential to the MCU's supernatural corner. Plus, this would naturally set up future stories. If the Midnight Suns come together to face some giant demonic incursion, it could crack the door wide open for characters like Mephisto or Chthon, and even tie into bigger multiverse events like Secret Wars. And with Magik right in the middle of it, you've got a character who can link the mutant world, the mystical world, and even hellish dimensions in one shot. That said, Marvel also somehow needs to explore how Magik's story starts right alongside her brother Piotr, who fans know best as Colossus. Both of them first popped up in Giant Size X-Men #1 back in 1975, created by Len Wein and David Cockrum. In Illyana's debut, Colossus actually saved her from a runaway tractor right before leaving their Russian farm to join the X-Men. But that was only the start. Soon after, she was kidnapped by Arcade, which brought her under the X-Men's care in the States. Her life took a darker turn when the demon Belasco dragged her into Limbo to use her in a plan to unleash the Elder Gods. Even though she was just 6 when she vanished, she came back only moments later, but aged 7 years and deeply scarred. Her years in Limbo were pure torment. In the 1983 Magik miniseries, Belasco corrupted part of her soul into a bloodstone while she fought demons like Sim and twisted X-Men copies. Luckily, alternate versions of Storm and Kitty Pryde trained her in magic and combat, shaping her into a fierce sorceress. She discovered her mutant gift to create teleportation discs and summoned her soul sword from her life force to finally defeat Belasco, becoming Limbo's ruler. Back on Earth, she bonded with the New Mutants and Kitty, but using her magic fueled her darker Darkchild side. This led to the Inferno event, where she accidentally unleashed Limbo's demons on New York. Ashamed, she reclaimed Limbo and reverted to her 6-year-old self, only to later die from the legacy virus. Years later, she returned, rebuilt her soul, became the X-Men's top teleporter, and even wielded the Phoenix Force. Over time, Magik embraced both being mentor and warrior, handing Limbo over to Madelyne Pryor so she could finally move on. Since then, Magik has been back with the main X-Men team, fought through the Axe Judgment Day event, and continued guiding young mutants and mystics. With Madelyne Pryor at the center of the looming dark web story, it probably won't be long before Illyana has to deal with the fallout of leaving Limbo behind. That's why fans are hoping Marvel really gives Magik her due. They want her back in a big way for something like Secret Wars, and to see her firmly established in the new X-Men era on screen. And honestly, Anya Taylor-Joy could totally carry that branch of the franchise if Marvel and Kevin Feige don't mess it up. It could be the start of something pretty amazing.